Okay, everyone, so I am struggling getting my show me video to upload, so I'm just gonna do it on the fly. Chapter 2, quiz 1 tomorrow, on Wednesday. It will be tomorrow by the time you guys see this video, I suppose. Remember, this is 2.1 through 2.3. There are 8 questions. It's going to be a total of 21 points. And remember that extra credit page. Let me double check. I believe it's page 96. One through 8. Yep, page 96. 1 through 8. That is for an extra 10%. Also, if you guys wish a 3x5 note card, you guys can use on your quiz as well. The first 3 problems have to do with square roots. So if I have the number like the square root of 49, I'm saying, well, what times that same exact number is 49? Well, 7 times 7 is 49. So the square root of 49 is equal to 7. Not 7 squared. The square root is undoing the squaring. So my answer should be just 7. No squared part. And remember, my other options is that if I had a plus or minus out front, this is telling me I want both the positive and negative answer. So we would write it plus or minus 7. And if I just had the negative square root of 49, I only want the negative one. So then I would have negative 7. Sorry if you need another second to write that down. And one of your next problems might look like 2 plus the square root of x times 3 when x is 16. Remember, these are following still our order of operations, and square roots follow in with exponents. So that's where we should be evaluating these. So when I plug x in, I would have 2 plus the square root of 16 times 3. The square root of 16 would be 4, so I would have 2 plus 4 times 3. I have to do the 4 times 3 first, since multiplication comes before addition. So 4 times 3 would give us 12. And 2 plus 12, my final answer here would be 14. So please make sure we're still following our order of operations. There were some that struggled on the test with that. The rest of the problems are all going to be solve the equation. That means I should end up with some sort of variable equaling some number. So for our first one, I might have x minus 4 equals 3. Well, to undo a subtracting 4, I would need to add 4. This is one of those balancing scales, so what I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. If you guys like drawing the wall down your equal sign, you guys can do that as well. On my left-hand side, minus 4 plus 4, those cancel. I would have just x left. I have my equal sign in the middle, and then 3 plus 4 would give us 7. Remember, I should be able to plug this in and see if it's correct. I would go plug in 7, and for my x, So I would have 7 minus 4, and I'm checking to see if it's equal to 3, if that's a true statement, and in which case this is. I could also have another one like x divided by 4 equals -2. My opposite of dividing by 4 would be to multiply by 4, and I would do that on both sides. My multiplying by 4, dividing by 4, those would cancel. I would just have x equals -2 times 4 would give me -8. We also had fractions. Oh, I forgot a variable, sorry. 2/3 x equals 10. Remember when we were talking about fractions, our example in our notes was 3/5. I'm trying to find a way so that my variable in front of these x's is just 1. So we're thinking, well, 3/5 times what number is going to give us 1? And the answer is, if I flip my fraction, I would get 15 over 15, and that would equal 1. So this brings in the idea of multiplying by the reciprocal. Copy dot flip, maybe, if you will. So 2/3 x, the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3 over 2. When I multiply these, my 2's would cancel, my 3's would cancel, and I would have just x. Again, this is balancing the scale, so since I multiplied by 3 over 2 on the left, I'm also going to do it on the right. And then I would say, okay, well, what's 10 times 3? 10 times 3 is 30, and then 30 divided by 2 would give us 15. You guys could still be doing 10 over 1 times 3 over 2 and going straight across. We're just going to work on simplifying that process through the year. And that is the end of our one-step equation. So then the last two are doing two-step equations. So you might have like 3x plus 2 equals 14. This is when you're following your don't call me after midnight. We only worked yesterday with combining like terms and the adding and subtracting, multiplying and dividing at the end. You guys just need to remember that adding and subtracting and doing those has to come before multiplying and dividing. So in this example, 3x plus 2 equals 14. I have to undo the adding 2 first. The opposite of adding 2 would be to subtract 2. In which case my 2's would cancel. I would have 3x equals 14 minus 2 would give me 12. And then to undo the 3 times x, the opposite of multiplying by 3 is to divide by 3. My 3's would cancel, and I would just have x equals 12 divided by 3 would give me 4. Remember, I can still go in and check these. So I got x equals 4. That means I would go take 4 and I'd plug it in at the top for my variable, and I would have 3 times 4 plus 2. I'm checking to see if that equals 14. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 2 is 14. So we know we're correct in our answer. And our last one is if I had maybe 2a plus 4a is equal to 18. This is where I would combine like terms. So this is just saying I have 2 apples plus 4 apples Now I have 6 apples. And it's equal to 18. To get my variable by itself, I would have to undo that multiplying by 6. So divide by 6. A equals 3. Just some last notes before I let you get started on writing your extra credit or doing your extra credit. I would maybe write down, maybe if I can spell, perfect squares. Remember, perfect squares are what my whole numbers squared are equal to. So my perfect squares here would be like 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. You could put those on your note card if you don't know those really well. I would also maybe make sure that you know how to do a square root on a calculator. So if you're using one of the blue calculators, it's pretty simple. You just type in whatever number is under the radical, under the square root sign, and then hit the square root symbol. So on that first page, our number was 49. I would type in 49, and then I would hit this button at the top, and that would give me my answer. The new calculators are a little bit more complicated in the sense you would have to hit the second button that's in the top left corner. Then like midway on the left hand side there's an x squared button. When you hit the second, that gives you the second version, which is the square root sign. Then you would type in your number and then hit enter, and it should give you your answer. So I would do one of these tomorrow. Make sure you know what you're doing. That way you're prepared for your quiz. Otherwise, you guys should either be working on your extra credit. Page 87 is due today. Page 76 was due yesterday. If you didn't get a chance to turn that in, you should have still some time here left at the end of the hour to work on those. Have a good day, and I will see you later.